I don't know what you decide to do at 1:30 a.m. in the morning, but what I decide to do is record commentaries for YouTube videos. With that being said, I'm actually going to be talking about art style today. The reason for that is because this drawing is actually a commission, and this is from a person who typically does 3D renders, which I am jealous of because the 3D and my brain just don't work together. Sure, I can visualize things in 3D, but when it comes to but how do I tell the program to do that with buttons, clickies, and sliders? I would actually pretty much just decide to take a nap underwater for an extended period of time that results in me not being alive. But they pretty much said in their prompt, this is my character. You can kind of mix and match in between a couple of outfits, but they said they wanted to see it in my style. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. They have a pretty cool character design already, so it's literally just, me, but doing my own thing. And they wanted a wallpaper version of the drawing that's kind of like a pinup spicy style type of thing. So when this drawing gets age gated later, now you know why. But that was literally the prompt, and it got me thinking, with art style, what makes my art style, other than just, thick characters, bright colors, detailed backgrounds. I know that everybody else probably has their own answer to that question, and it is always a fun thing that you run by people like, hey dude, how would you describe my art style in your own words? And it's a thing that I think is always fun to get other people's input on. But I just kind of wanted to talk about why, or at least how I develop mine, because I know that with a lot of beginner artists, they tend to be really concerned about finding a unique art style. Which the more you get into art and the more you learn about it, the more you're just going to realize that that's just impossible. But pretty much from what I found is having your own unique art style isn't really important as much as it is like you finding the best way to tell whatever kind of story or whatever kind of vision you have in mind. Because for me, it kind of happened by accident. Like in the very beginning, the reason I even got into anime is because I watched Dragon Ball and I was like, dude, that's freaking cool. So, I started to draw a lot of Dragon Ball characters, but this is back in the days before Wi-Fi and the internet was a regular thing. So I kind of needed to do it from memory. So it was half try to remember what things look like, and the other half was, do your own thing with it. And, by the time I did have more regular access to the internet, I just started taking in all sorts of inspiration, So it's like, I like Dragon Ball. I also like Naruto. I also like Death Note. I also like Jujutsu Kaisen now, which is like a more recent thing. I also like Attack on Titan. And pretty much what I found myself doing was you take a bunch of different aspects that you like about different art styles and you kind of decide to mishmash and put them together. So that, along with your own lived experience, is going to make your art style. So I feel like half of it is just you curating the stuff that you like, and the other half of it is literally just your life experience. Because everyone has a different life. They've all had different experiences and tragedies and celebrations and whatever, and I feel like literally putting those two together will form itself into a beautiful little unique little here's your art style, dude. I mean, sure, your drawings can look like other people's, but there's always going to be minute differences and distinctions that it's going to make it your own art style. Even when I started YouTube 11, 12 years ago. The reason I decided to start it was because I saw a bunch of different speed paints from a bunch of different art YouTubers because I had literally just barely found out what drawing tablets were. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. So I would take things I like from this person's art style. I like how this person draws eyes. I like how this person draws hair. I like how this person colors eyes. I like how this person colors hair. So it's just literally going around and having a little robbery fest, a little bit of creative theft going on. Just trying to make sure to not rob too much from one distinct source, because there's a difference between inspiration and a ripoff. Where you decide to draw that line is entirely up to you. But it was pretty much from a bunch of different art YouTubers that I had put together my own distinct kind of style. That's back in 2012, so that was when I had more of an anime style. But that's how it happened for me. It didn't ever happen because I was looking for an art style. It kind of just happened by accident. So if that was the thing I could share with anybody who's maybe, starting to get into art or is maybe more on the beginner side or is just younger, I'd say that trying to find a unique art style is actually the least important thing that you can do. The most important thing you can do is just take inspiration from literally everywhere and try to incorporate that into what you're doing. You know, if you really like how somebody does like a horror element in a video game, incorporate that. You know, if you like how a certain action set piece in a video game happens, incorporate that. You like a certain thing from a TV show, yeah, we're going to take some of that, you know. And I know that that's more of an against the grain kind of workflow, because now people can just be like, I type it at the computer, I get the Studio Ghibli or the Ghibli, and I put it in the computer, and the computer do it for me, you know? And I mean, sure, you can do that, but I feel like it's more fun to kind of just make your own art style, you know? Instead of regurgitating what's already been done with the beep boops, why not make something new? You know, it's always going to be new. Nobody's done it before, because no one can actually read your brain and do what you've done first. But that's kind of just a, don't worry too much about the art style being discovered. Plus, with that being said, it's also going to change a lot, like hundreds of times probably throughout your entire life. You know, you work so hard to find an art style, and you finally find it, the holy grail, but then you find that you don't really want to stick to that forever, because you always want to change and update and, you know, improve. So your art style changes and updates and improves with it. So, you know, even after you've spent forever finding your art style, it's also going to change with time. And that's kind of what I've seen. I know that my case is a kind of dramatic one in saying like, oh yeah, no, I worked on manga, then I worked on anime style illustration. Now I work on semi-realism painterly style. You know, a couple of years from now, when I decide that drawing is hard and I just quit, I'm going to go like abstract art. Hell yeah, dude. I'm looking forward to that. Still life drawing with Artfinity? Sign me up. But yeah, that's kind of just my 2 cents on art style. You know, I would say don't worry about it too much. Just take what you like and like for inspiration. Put all of those things together. It'll eventually become its own thing. And it's going to change anyway. Plus, having multiple art styles is actually a benefit to you, you know, because I know in my case, I have a style that I do for manga, for anime, for semi-realism, and then actually just straight up realism, and also horror and stuff like that. So I think it's better and it's more fun if you don't just put yourself in a box and say, I only ever do this one thing ever, forever, and never do anything else, because that'd get really boring and that would really suck. Feel free to try different things. You don't always need to post them online, you know, but if you want to try a thing just for yourself and, you know, do it. It's fun. It keeps you drawing. It keeps things interesting. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys like the drawing. This was supposed to be like a wallpaper version of this actual character. So yeah, for the person who actually commissioned it, I hope you like it. For everybody else, I hope that you also like the drawing, or at least had something interesting to listen to, because I don't know if my take on you know, art style is going to be crazy wild and different and revolutionary. I just think it's interesting to talk about, because it's what I'm thinking about it, you know, 1:30 in the morning while I'm staring at a wall. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, though. How important do you think art style is? You know, how did you find your own art style? Like, are you proud of its individuality, or do you kind of just not care like me? It'd be interesting to kind of get your feedback and, you know, see where people are on that. But also, like I said, this drawing is a commission. My commissions actually are still open. So if you want to get one for yourself, I'm just going to leave the link in the description so you can get one for yourself. You know, if you want me to draw your character from your style and my style, that's going to be there. But yeah, I will see you guys later. I think I need to go do something called sleep or something like that.